Hey guys, Sebastian here from Walgreens Vintage. In today's video, we'll be talking about Danelectro guitars. So what I have here, it's called the Danelectro PB, and this is based on their 59 model, and it has a lot of the specs that made Danelectro such an iconic brand. The history of Danelectro starts in 1947. It was basically an amplifier company. They built amps for other brands such as Sears, for example. And then later in the 1950s, they got into the guitar building business. And some of their guitars had very peculiar quirks that resonated with a lot of the players. They were affordable, they sounded very unique, they were light, and they looked cool. They basically ended up in the hands of players like Hendrix, Page, and a lot of your favorite songs from some of those artists might actually have been recorded on a Danelectro guitar. Think of Led Zeppelin, for example. A lot of the open DAC tuning songs that are played on an electric, they might be a Danelectro. For example, the song Kashmir. So let's talk about what makes these guitars so special and unique. First of all, the most iconic feature probably be the lipstick pickups. These are single coils that come encased in a metal cover that looks like an old lipstick. Very cool sounding guitars. And they have this cool thing when you go to the middle position, the pickups are wired in series rather than parallel. So you can't get rid of the hum since they're single coil, but both pickups in series just gives it like a beefiness to it that I just love. And then another cool thing is the knob configuration over here, which is basically a stack style knob, which gives you tone control in the top portion and then volume in the bottom. And you have one for each pickup. This is something that you saw in the 60s, and again, the PB has several components from different guitars. You have more of a 50s style bridge with the 60s style knobs, which I find really cool. And then you also have a semi-hollow construction. This is how Danelectro managed, I think, to make guitars so affordable back then. You have a spruce block in the middle, and then you have plywood top and bottoms. And it gives the guitar a very acoustic-like sound. They have a 14-inch radius and a 25.5 scale length. You also have a modern C profile. These guitars just feel really, really good. Which for the price is kind of hard to beat. Even back then, I think a lot of these specs really resonated with players that wanted those specs from higher-end guitars from brands like Fender and Gibson, yet they managed to find it on an instrument like this. That's why, again, I think so many pro players gravitated towards these guitars. And the other thing would be the color. They come in many other combinations, but copper is my favorite. And in combination, I think you have a guitar that is just very unique and stands out against the rest. And even though it's made in a very affordable fashion, it really doesn't have anything to envy to these other higher end guitars. It's super rock and roll, it's raw, it's simple, and it's just cool. So yeah, we're running it through a Vox AC15. It sounds amazing. We're basically running it through the normal channel and playing around with the tremolo controls to give you guys different flavors. And I think you guys are gonna love the tones that we're getting here. I think anything from swampy blues to classic rock, jazz, you name it. These guitars really can do it all. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to find out more about this gear, the links will be down below in the description. Head over to waltgracevintage.com if you want to see all the stuff that we carry, from guitars, cars, coffee, watches, and a lot more. If you guys want to support the channel, give the video a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and follow us on Instagram at @waltgracevintage for more content like this. My name is Sebastian. Till next time.